What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to a new video on the channel. Welcome to some Need for Speed Unbound for today's video. Basically, I had to hop on and make a video on this because it's just something that I haven't, first of all, played in a while, and second of all, I just feel like I needed the correct game in the background to be able to like talk about what I wanted to talk about today's video. So, if you haven't heard about the news, Need for Speed is going to take a long time to come out. So basically, the newer Need for Speed, the one that's supposed to be a replacement, Need for Speed Unbound, is going to take ages to come out. Now, why is that? Well, first of all, their entire team has gone over to help with the new Battlefield game. So I think the people that work at Criterion Games, people that made this game, they have gone off to help the team with Battlefield. So that's why we're gonna probably not see a Need for Speed game for a good few years. Here's the thing though, right? I remember when this one came out and I was actually very excited because it genuinely looked pretty good. And I had the same opinion that I've had since it came out, and the same as when the previous one came out, and the same as the one before that came out. I feel like Need for Speed struggled a lot with post-release support, and I feel like a lot of people agree with me. There are also some people out there that obviously say that, you know, once they release the game, they should be, you know, that's it, you know. But we're not in those times anymore. We're not playing the Need for Speed Undergrounds on the original, you know, the PS2s and the PS3s and stuff like that. The old school Need for Speeds, where, well, PS3 not even, but PS2s basically, when we didn't really have a lot of, you know, post-release support due to the fact that it was basically just the game, and that's it. There wasn't really too much online happening back then, so there was no updates or DLCs or anything like that that were usually released for games. So like I said, now it's completely different. Plus the amount of content that they release in the game just seems like it's always a lot less with brand new games, and they kind of, it's like they hold back, right? They're like, oh yeah, here's some content, but we'll wait until we feel like it, and then we'll release more content later on, you know, just to make the game look like it's getting new things added into the game. But it just feels like, you know, game developers are just holding back. And I'm not talking about just Need for Speed in general, but I'm talking about like, you know, just game developers in general, like not just Criterion, not just people that made Need for Speed, but like everybody does this nowadays. Like it's incredibly annoying, but at the same time, you know, it gives you that sense of them actually putting in the work and coming up with new content and all that sort of stuff. In a lot of cases, yes, there are obviously DLCs and stuff like that that are in production after the game has been released, but a lot of the time, basically what happens is they release the game, they have the DLCs all made, and then they just release them like trickle down basically with the DLCs, and they just release them very slowly over the course of however long the game they decide to keep updating, you know, a year, 2 years, whatever. So that's the one thing with Need for Speed that I never really like understood. It just feels like even after they released the game, they just didn't really have too much post-release support afterwards. So we kind of had like the story and all that sort of stuff, and that's pretty much how it just finished off, you know, like there wasn't really much going on. Now actually they released the Speed Pass. Not really a big fan of Speed Pass, basically a battle pass, which is just a bit you know. There are a lot of challenges in this. Obviously right now I'm just in single player mode, but there's so much that has changed online since the last time I played it. There's like, you can have like a cop garage, like you can have like cop cars, like you can genuinely own them. There's like lockdowns and takeovers and stuff like that. Again, massive change for online, and again, like I said, it's nice that this one at least has gotten some sort of post-release support compared to some of the other games that they've released in the past 10 years. You know how crazy it is that Need for Speed, well, obviously, Need for Speed 2015 came out 10 years ago. This game that you're watching right now is still based on that game. So if I can't go back into the garage, can I, right now? I need to lose the cops and leave or something. But I need to lose the cops first, so let's try and get away from these guys real quick. I can't even remember how you lose them. I think you have to do like jumps and stuff, or you have to like kind of lead them to somewhere and let them like drop into the river. The cops in this game are just not it.
Suspect last seen entering
I feel like they're very brutal, but at the same time, it just feels like you just do one of these. You just do one of these and you lose them eventually. It's like they don't want to follow the road. Like, I've lost most of them, I just have one guy on me. It's just weird. Regardless, I feel like there's so much that has changed with this game. Like I said, since 2015, but a lot of it is still very, very similar. As in the customization is still the same. The actual, like, you know, driving physics aren't overly different. They're still very, very similar to 2015. They've definitely made them a lot better though. They've improved them, let's just put it that way, because we remember when we were playing 2015 and we were like playing that game just in awe at how terrible the driving physics were in that game. Everyone was driving around, drifting around every corner. That's the one thing, man, that they need to do for the next Need for Speed, I swear to God. They need to go and hire someone that has driven a car in real life before to create some sort of, you know, driving, handling physics for their games, because I swear, if we get another game like this, it's over. I cannot stand playing a game like this. Again, this one is not as bad as Need for Speed 2015, if you guys remember how bad that was. And the same with Need for Speed was the one that came after Payback. Right, Payback was also, and Heat as well, was also super like drift heavy. Like, going around corners, drifting is a lot faster than going around corners like normally. It's just the strangest thing in the world, and I have no idea who thought of that idea. Like I don't get it. I just don't understand it. Regardless, they definitely need to change that for the next Need for Speed. I feel like the customization is like spot on. It's impeccable. They've used the same system now, like I said, for the past 10 years. It is pretty much the exact same since back in 2015. They, like, not much has changed. They kind of just kept adding more and more things, but that's pretty much it. It still looks very, very similar. Even the way it works, like, you just kind of hover from part to part around the car, and it still is pretty much the exact same. I'll go into it now because I actually kind of want to have a look a little bit. This performance thing is a little bit weird. Obviously, you have the engine parts and stuff like that. I like that. That's cool. This upgrade system, not a big fan of. It's just a little weird, and it doesn't really do that much. I mean, obviously, it unlocks basically this. It just unlocks this, like, slider. That's it. And you go and slide it up and down. That's pretty much it. So you can't really adjust anything, like, in depth, or make it, like, you know, make it the way you feel like you should make the car, or how you should build the car to handle. You know, it's just kind of like on a slider, and here's some parts that you can go and, you know, go through to the slider and do that. But yeah, there's body kits. There's all sorts going on here. You can also go into body parts, and like I said, this part here is pretty much copy paste from Need for Speed 2015. This is literally the exact same as back then. So, like I said, I think Need for Speed has some of the best modification options, some of the best, like, just overall body kits and everything that they added to the game are just very, very sick. There's just so many of them, and I feel like there's other games out there, I'm not gonna name any names, Forza, that could take notes from Need for Speed in terms of how they should go about their modification options when it comes to cars. They need more licensing, boys. That is literally it. They need more licensing. It just feels like they just don't, you know, do it. They just don't get the licensing for these kits. Or maybe they're just getting turned down, which I don't know how, but I guess they are. Regardless, yeah, we definitely need some more customization options. Just anything. Like, look at that. Like, what is that wing, man? Look at it. It's ridiculous. But it's in the game, and if you want to pick it, you can pick it. That's the main part. It's not about, you know, when I put this on my car, there's no point in me putting it in the game. Is someone might do it, even just for a laugh, even just to make the car look stupid, but they'll do it because it's fun, right? That's the whole point of having the freedom to do whatever you want in games like this. So, like I said, we need some sort of thing for from the developers, some sort of a person or someone that can work for the handling physics, but the actual customization itself is spot on. I really, really love the customization, and always did. From all the way back in Need for Speed 2015, I think it was always really, really good. But yeah, they have a lot of time to figure all that out, since, like I said, the game is probably not going to come out anytime soon. It does look like they've updated the game, and I think maybe some issues that I've sorted out, I think, with the BIOS, and it's fixed the game crashing for me. So I don't know, maybe at some point I'll end up revisiting this again. That's the only reason why I haven't played this game that much, by the way, is because I genuinely couldn't. I couldn't even launch the game up. It would basically stay up for like 10 minutes and then crash. It would just turn off. And I was like, I'm not doing that. That's just, it defeats the like, I can't do anything. I can't even go and do any events or anything like that, because it'll end up crashing like mid-event. So it was a bit annoying doing that. I mean, it's probably Intel's issue, but it was also a Need for Speed issue for a long time. Because I looked it up on forums and stuff like that, and apparently people were having this same issue back in like Need for Speed Payback and Need for Speed 2015. So I don't know. Regardless, for me now it's fixed by the looks of things, because it hasn't crashed for a little while. Here's me like jinxing it, and it's gonna crash now. Imagine. Yeah, I miss playing this game, but at the same time, I feel like it's so far away from like reality when it comes to driving it. I think that the handling physics just steal my head in, man. They really do. They need to lose this whole whatever they've tried here with this game. I know some people, you know, really hate it. I don't hate it that much. You know, the whole like kind of animated kind of characters. I don't hate it. I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. I think they've tried something new. They tried something different, obviously, from the previous games. And you know, they just wanted to see what would work if this would be something that would be kind of refreshing. You know, something a little different. And I kind of like it. It's not for everybody's taste. I don't think that it's necessary to have stuff like this in the game to make it a good game. I'm just saying, like, they've tried something new. You know, they tried something different. Or else, if they would have released the same, they would have released basically the same game as Need for Speed Heat, except in just a different city. So I feel like that's kind of alright. I don't really mind that at all. But what they've done with the artwork for this game and all that. So yeah, man, I don't know where they could even like put the next game. I feel like if they decided to go back and do, like, I guess, you know, what people were asking, if you guys remember, for a Need for Speed Underground sequel. I think Need for Speed 2015 was a Need for Speed Underground sequel. I think that was a good game. As broken and as crappy as the driving physics were in that game, I think it was a fun game to play. It really was. Made a lot of videos on it, and obviously, you know, same with the Need for Speed Payback, which I think they've done an even better job. It's just, yeah, it's just slowly improved over time until we got to this game, and now I'm guessing they're probably going to do something from scratch again. I don't think they're going to stick to the same underground theme, because if they do, it'll basically be a copy-paste of a game that's been out for more than 10 years, because I don't know when the next one's going to be released. Is it going to be released in 2 years' time, in 3 years' time? I don't know. But it'll be very old if they decide to stick with the same engine and the same platform and the same everything. I just kind of copy-paste it over. So it's an interesting one. It's a very interesting one. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Like, are you gonna look forward to buying the new Need for Speed or not? Obviously, whenever that comes out in a couple of years. Are you even interested? Are you even bothered looking forward to it? Like, what can they really do to bring you back to the series? Because for me, I grew up with the Underground series. Like, those were my first few like car games that I owned growing up as a kid, and like that's one of the things that got me into like modifying cars and all that, along with, you know, Fast and Furious. Like a lot of kids, I had Need for Speed as well, you know, and obviously I played Gran Turismo and all that sort of stuff back then, but like Need for Speed back then, Need for Speed Underground and Underground 2 was just unparalleled. Like, there was nothing around at the time that was similar to that. And then other games obviously came out as well. We had like Juice that came out, if you guys remember that game. That was interesting. But again, it was just like Underground always, still to this day, if I go back and I play Underground 2, for example, it still like gives me goosebumps playing it. It just feels like it's just proper nostalgia, you know. Like I don't have that with any other Need for Speed game except for the old school classics, the Undergrounds and the Most Wanted and Carbon. Like those are the games that, you know, like I still like think about, and that's why a lot of people reminisce and always say that those were the best times for Need for Speed, and I agree with them, because it's something that I don't know if they can ever, you know, bring back and replace, or not replace, but like, you know, copy that feeling, I guess, with those games, especially for people that obviously grew up with those games. You know, there's people out there now, or kids out there, that grew up with these Need for Speeds, you know, the 2015 genre of Need for Speed. So I don't know, but I feel like you guys missed out on an amazing time in Need for Speed's history, back when they were like absolutely booming. Like I said, there was nothing around at the time that was similar to Need for Speed. It was just absolutely enormous, and now it just feels like it's that sort of game that people, it still holds on to like the name of it, but it just doesn't feel like it's a game that people want to end up buying, you know what I mean? So I don't know. It's gonna be a few years obviously until we see the next one, and they have a lot of work to do. I think they definitely have to fix the handling physics. They have to fix you know, the whole whatever's going on here with this setup. I think it doesn't, what the hell? Okay. Yeah, they have to fix whatever that is. I think they have to fix quite a lot of things if they want to make this game, or make the future Need for Speed good again. There's also another thing, like post-release support is obviously the one thing that I've talked about before many times. This one has had, I think, about, was it 9 updates, 9 big updates, and that they released over the course of 2 years, almost 3 years now. So it's done a lot better, let's just put it that way, than the previous Need for Speeds. Regardless, I think it needs more. I think it needs some sort of a way to like claim content. I think the battle pass was actually a good idea. As much as I don't think battle passes are a good idea, I think for this game it was a good idea for them to release content. But I don't care about like releasing stuff like clothes and all that. Like I don't care for like my animated character. I'm sorry, it's a car game at the end of the day. That's the one thing about Forza that I hate as well, right? Is when you're doing like the wheel spins and you start getting like t-shirts, and you start getting like hats and stuff like that, or you start getting emotes in this game, for example. Like what? I just don't care. Like just let me get like, you know, car parts. Let me get like cars themselves from the battle pass or the wheel spins or whatever in games, you know? I leave customization for something else. Have a separate system to get customization for your character, you know? Not include it in the places where I want to get like stuff for cars, you know? Regardless, maybe that's just me and I'm being picky, and because it's a car game I'm expecting it to be just about cars, not about customizing your own character as much. But again, that is probably just me. Yeah, you know what, I'm gonna leave the video here. I feel like I've yapped long enough, but I also just wanted to kind of roam around and drive around a little bit in this game, because again, like I said, it's been so long since I've been able to actually do it. It just feels like it just feels like I don't know, like I'm coming back to a game that I haven't played in like 10 years, just because I haven't really like done much with this game. I remember I made like a few videos on this game early days when it came out, and then I just kind of stopped because I obviously wasn't able to play the game anymore. I even made like sponsored content for this game as well. Yeah. Anyway, regardless, let me know what your thoughts are. Future Need for Speed will be coming out at some point in not the near future, probably the far future, I guess. But yeah, we'll see what they decide to do and what direction they want to go with that. Maybe they want to go back to the old school, like, you know, just full on just supercars only Need for Speeds. I feel like they'll lose like a massive part of their audience though if they do that, and they don't stick to the same sort of like street racing vibe with like tuner cars and supercars and all that. I feel like they've done a good job with transitioning from just that to, you know, kind of have everything and anything in between. Alright, anyway, before I get caught by the police here, I'm just gonna end up going into the woods here. Okay, I'm just gonna delete some trees. Wow, they don't even like stop you, you just delete them. Oh no, wait, that one does. Alright. Cool, whatever. I'm gonna leave it alone. That's it from me. Thanks for watching, everybody. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye, everyone.